Hey guys, it's Sebchoof here. I just wanted to upload a quick follow-up video because Deca is soon releasing a statement about the cheating duping situation that is going on right now. So I wanted to briefly summarize the last videos and express some key points to keep in mind about the Q&A while the community discussion with Deca is happening. Then I quickly want to go over the recommendations to Deca and some mistakes that I've made in the last video, and recommendations to players that want to eliminate this problem. And then I want to show how I aim to help RotMG and Deca in the future after this video. But firstly, I just wanted to thank everyone for the insane support that the video received. The YouTube video got over 100 comments in the first 2 hours, and another 100 in the next 2 hours after that, with over 90% of them being positive. The Reddit post got almost 200 comments, with 90% being positive. It also got the most awards out of any post I've seen on the Realm Reddit, whatever the hell they do. Shout out to K Rohus, IVX, and Sebchoof for the ones that I know who gave them. Also, Unibro's feedback in the Realm of the Mad God Discord got over 200 upvotes in 24 hours, which is the most by far and done in such a small amount of time. And we already got a reaction from Deca showing that they will at least discuss the issue. It's amazing to see how many players that quit the game gave me positive feedback on the video. An overwhelming amount of people told me that they are still interested in watching on Reddit on how Realm is going, but they don't want to play it because of the state that it's in. Here's the TLDR on my last video. If you want to watch it, it's in the description. I explained how hacking and duping makes the game worse off by destroying the fundamentals and uniqueness of the game. Because of hacks, core mechanics like permadeath only applies to some players. Hacks and duping gives items less perceived value, which means item drops are very less special since whites can be duped, or the Nexus protects hackers, and hackers generally complete dungeons faster. Hacks and duping also gives items less market value since players do endgame dungeons without dying and bringing home a massive amount of tops and pots that enter the economy without hackers ever having to replace the ones that they have. Organized hackers exacerbate these problems mentioned before. This is by efficiently farming endgame dungeons with majority of players being cheaters. They also increase the proportion of cheaters and dupers by encouraging the players to cheat to increase efficiency, so without action the drastic problem of cheating is only growing. I showed 5 cases where Deca does not prevent the growing problem. The first shows how reports are generally ignored, though I've learned that reports can be spoofed, so I'll touch on this in the mistakes section, and give effective recommendations on how to avoid this. The second shows that Deca acknowledges the players are hacking in a Reddit post and doesn't act. The third where they only ban a few of the players even though they are all clearly cheating. This may be because a lot of the players involved in this spent a lot of money. And by the way, a player that got told in this video they got permabanned between a week and a month ago, which we will name O, allegedly got unbanned. Nice! The fourth shows one player who was reported a double-digit amount of times and temporarily banned, often for exploiting fame, more than anyone else in the game, by duplicating 4,000 epic chests worth 60k fame. He paid at least $1,000 to get the duping service, and he's got at least one character in the all-time leaderboards, and countless of the reports show him auto-aiming and auto-following. The fifth shows how a player admits to cheating in an attempt to quit the game, proves it through using an email he has used for previous inquiries, and gave answers to his security questions. After multiple requests to be permanently banned, they finally did, but was offered the opportunity to apply to be unbanned in a week's time, which he confirmed he did. Key points I made that are incredibly important to remember is firstly, I am not trying to hate on Deca. If you have seen me streaming or have met me, I'm actually extremely positive and very rarely complain. I've been blindly optimistic until recently about the state of the game. I made this video and the one before it because I don't want this game to become worse off and be in a negative state when it does be ported to Unity. I also believe that leniency against hackers is cutting revenue in the long term for Deca because hundreds of legit players who I know that has spent thousands have quit or are going to quit since cheats devalue the game. Banned cheaters can potentially start playing the game again on a new account and spend money, but players that you scared away from this game won't come back and spend a cent. I would do anything reasonable that would make Realm as fun as it used to be if Deca ever needs my help. Secondly, Deca has to start taking actions against cheaters even before the Unity port. This is because if all accounts are transferred, they will retain the items that they gained significantly easier than legit players through duping, not being able to die, and using hacking tools to run dungeons faster. Some of these players don't even respect Deca the slightest amount to stop hacking after a temporary ban, so I can only assume that they will try their best to encourage the development of hacks in Unity and take advantage of them when they're available. I am almost certain that this point would come up in the Q&A if I didn't mention it, so don't accept this as an excuse. Thirdly, a lot of people are saying that they need hacks in order to run the game because of its poor optimization. If you're someone that hacks to improve performance, then you should really have nothing to worry about because as far as I know, people can't catch you out for hacking anyway, so you shouldn't be concerned about any changes that prevent abuse via hacking. Now for the recommendations I made, I won't stop fighting until these two are fulfilled. So firstly, permaban players who have received multiple reports that are sufficient, and secondly, become stricter in general. For example, on the first ban you can give a temporary ban which is 2 weeks, and on the second ban give a permaban. I don't mean to be rude or anything, but we really need these changes, and I will have to initiate phase 2 after the timer expires if it's not done by then, because the hacking problem is mainly due to a lack of Deca action. It's not even asking for that much. Other game companies do much more without having to be pushed by their player base to do so. So on the first case where I said Deca uses repetitive responses to hacker reports, I said that reports can be spoofed. What that means is cheaters can actually change the name of other players in an attempt to get them wrongfully banned. This definitely didn't happen in the third and fourth case since they were submitted by closed testers, the group you would assume Deca would trust the most. Also, the first videos were actually sent to me by long-time legitimate players who used hours of their time submitting reports about, so they might be examples of reports that they might be acceptable in the following. Another recommendation that Deca could implement to potentially reduce incoming ban related spam to customer service is create a council of well-trusted players like mods and testers that look after the reports depending on the reputation of the reporter and validity of the cheating claim, and follow a strict guideline created by Deca as a group to decide on if the reported player deserves punishment or not. And it could be a group so it could prevent bias and any abuse with the banning. Two other optional but beneficial recommendations, if they're possible, is make it more difficult to hack, and if possible, organize with Discord to dismantle Realm of the Mad God discords that break terms of service. The most game damaging one, which does the lost halls, would probably die after the first recommendation anyway. Now for the mistakes I made with the first video. I wanted the first video to go viral so that the message was spread as much as possible, and to do so I had to make the video juicy with drama. So this made me use definite terms where solid evidence was lacking. Like for example, I don't remember if I said this exactly, but for example if I said, if you spend more money you're more unlikely to get banned and get easier unbans. Of course this is almost impossible to prove. I also mistakenly said that the YouTuber Paraka was Finnick. Now so many different dodgy things led me to this. Like his YouTube channel was the same name as the hacker, he previously had his graveyard and name history hidden, he is in the dodgiest guild in the game, as one of the only legit players. The Finnick account is inactive, which led me to believe it was an account to hold the name, and he had a massive fame spike around when the fame hacking exploits occurred. Also there's heaps of stuff that viewers found after I released the video. Like if you use the Wayback Machine, the Finnick account acknowledges the YouTube account as his in the RotMG description. And these two, if done legitimately, usually lead a player to become extremely well known in the community, and that includes having 6 conflicts and over 90k fame. Also, a viewer discovered that one of Paraka's previous names was used as an account on MPGH, or Multiplayer Game Hack, which is from what I know where everyone goes to download hacks, with a history of at least 100 posts. So I'm not saying this for certain of course, but there's a chance that his name history was hidden at the time of my first video to hide that name. But in any case, I was wrong and I apologise for rushing to conclusions last time. Still nothing definite, but I would be beyond shocked if that account is completely legit. If you are a player that wants to limit the amount of hacking in the game, there is 4 things you can do. 1. Share this video as much as you can to other discords. 2. Upload the post on Reddit that contains this video made by me. 3. Download the video and upload it as an unlisted video, in case my video gets troll takedown again. Then spread it to other discords as much as possible. And fourth, leave discords that encourage cheating, like tracker discords and maximum efficiency. Now lastly, I want to tell you guys about part of my plans for YouTube in the future. Basically, to oversimplify the solvable problems that I believe Realm of the Mad God has, there is a trinity that I will create a series of videos on, with my previous hacking one and this one being the first. The three problems being hacking, chest events, and paying to win. Hacking was an issue that Deca allowed, and it was the only growing one, so I had to tackle this one first, and I'll keep going until the first two recommendations are met. Now to summarize the other two, the chest events have made the game really mundane. Since this is a loot-driven game, players would generally default to farm what is the most worthwhile at the time. Combine this with the discords and the public popping area US South, and a perpetual cycle is created where everyone essentially sits still at the spawn while one person rushes the event dungeon at the time and just shoots at the chests or bosses, hoping for loot, hundreds of times. Another negative thing about this is it makes the items that drop from the events extremely easy to get, and there's no difficulty in obtaining them, so the satisfaction is dead. To break this perpetual cycle, I've got some ideas that I'll propose in the future. Now the pay to win issue is extremely tricky and I think it's overrated. That's why I'm going to leave it till last. And I know I'm a pay to win scrub, so I'm biased, but hear me out. It would be incredibly difficult to come up with successful ideas in the future for monetization that replace the paying to win, so that Realm can live financially without it giving an unfair advantage to the players paying. I'll suggest some ideas in the future that might be able to ease this issue. And by the way, I'm only going to be aggressive about the hacking part since I think that chest events and paying to win is honest mistakes and hard to prevent, unlike the hacking one. Thank you so much Zekhersas for creating that Trinity image for me. And if you guys are keen for my content in the future, make sure to go to my main YouTube channel, which will be in the YouTube description, and subscribe. Peace.